Welcome back to Factorio. Today we're going to start with solving our immediate plastic problem. We're not producing anywhere near enough because we're running out of petroleum, which is because pretty much it's not being converted over into solid fuel fast enough, and we just want to adjust the ratios. So we're just going to take all the inputs out of our refinery here. We're going to change the recipe across to advanced oil processing now that's available. And that means my left input is going to be water, which is actually fine because for a change, that means that everything is in the right place. If I just put this back, then I can run water lines. Whoops, that's oil. I need to change this over. Everything will stop for a second, but let's just copy and paste this over. And yeah, that will do the job. We just need some straight lines coming out here. There we go. And we can join this straight into this particular water line. So if we just put that to, let's just actually run underground. And it lines up very, very nicely. Obviously I need one more piece of straight, but that'll do fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they should all start up, hopefully. Yeah, they have. And we get a different mix from this than the others. So if I remember last episode, we get still light oil, but we get more petroleum, less heavy oil. So that's important. So on the output, we still need to deal with the heavy oil, but we're also going to need lubricant. So before this goes to this solid fuel, and in fact, what I probably want to do is some sort of control over whether it goes to solid fuel at all. Why don't we just take this out here? Let me put down some lights so everyone can see. There we go. And put another one down over here somewhere. So let's just actually send this to an offshoot that goes down this way, and then we can send the lubricant back. So we're going to need, what is it going to be? A chemical plant, I would have thought. So chemical plant. I've already got one. Let's just give this a try and see if that allows for lubricant. And leave a little bit of space just in case there. Yeah, lubricant. So just heavy oil will do fine here. And we can just put that straight in this way. Okay. And then what I want to do is set up a valve. Do we have valves? Is it called valves? No. What are they actually called in native? Have I forgotten what they're actually called? It's quite likely. Do I not have control valves? Let me check. And unfortunately, overflow valves are modded. I thought they were part of the base game. I've used them for that long. Anyway, you can realistically do that as well. We're just going to do this slightly differently just to keep to mostly vanilla machines. And of course, you can decide to use modded ones yourself as well. So all we're really doing here, if I just take this apart again, let's just take that out and we'll leave that alone. I've put an input buffer tank, and that's just so I can see if stuff is piling up. We can't detect things directly from pipes, I don't think. Let me just try. If we just get some green wire, can we actually click on it? No, we can't. So we actually need something else. So let's take out the power for a second and we'll put the pump back in. So the pump by itself doesn't do much, but if you go into here, you can connect it to basically to a circuit network or to a logistics network. If you go and grab some green wire then and go from our input buffer to the pump, you'll now see, whoops, get that off my cursor, it's connected to network 7. And we have basically mode of operation, enable or disable. We choose what we want here. And here we're just going to select heavy oil is greater than, I don't know, let's say 200. Okay. So if our input buffer ever gets above 200, which it is right now, it will start pumping oil, or should start pumping oil once I give it some power. There it goes. And that will then pump oil this way and get rid of it via solid fuel. So we have a nice overflow valve there, and then on our output we can also put in a tank, and this will, well, actually let's move that a little bit further down, and this will actually then stop that pump from working because all of the stuff in here will get output. That will pull in all the stuff from the input tank, which will drop below 200, which it has, and then this is turned off. So yep, nice little neat little overflow valve just so we don't run out. Kind of a useful trick if you're not going to use modded items. And it really helps if you connect the water properly. So I did actually put another underground there. That was a straight one. Obviously wouldn't work with that. And that should then start supplying petroleum out of here, which we can then hopefully use more of. Let's just head around it. Let's get around our pipes. And we're looking for both these to come on and then this one to come on. Yeah, so we're starting to get a little bit more petroleum now. And that will then load both sides of this belt, which is going to head out that way. Is it enough to get to 4? Not quite, I don't think. Yeah. So we are probably going to need more refineries. And of course I've put this in the way, but it should be straightforward to move this around now. We don't actually need it precisely here. We can detect it from wherever we like. So yeah, I'll go back to that later. So that will then also let us produce more sulfur. The sulfur is going to head towards batteries, and the batteries should head towards the main topic of today, which is heading for robots. So in robots, we've got to make the frames and pretty much everything else from the frames. So let's take a look at the flying robot frame. Needs steel and batteries, needs electronic circuits and electric engine units. So before we get to that, we've got to get to electric engine units. And that is where our lubricant comes in. So we've got engine units, circuits, and lubricant. Now we know the lubricant's over here, and we can run a pipe from there. Where are our engine units? That's going to be important. Yes, and circuits as well, but not quite as much. Here are our engine units, and they're all being sent across all the way over this way for one of our science packs. So we can filter those out somewhere else. We have circuits right here and engine units right here. So if as long as we're willing to sacrifice some engine units to make the electric engine units, we can make them right here next to our red circuits. Oh, that's getting mixed because both of those are going in. No, 1 second. That'll get rid of those pretty quickly. Let's get rid of you as well. We need to maybe load those onto either side for now, I want to say. At least here. One there, one there. And let's clear up. There we go. Helps if you don't destroy your own setups. Right, what was I going to say? Yes, so we can get some assembly machines and we will put them in like this. Not sure how many of these we're going to need, so again, I'll just put down a few for now. Electric engine units, and these are going to need connectivity for, and let's just rotate with R for lubricant. Is that the way I want them? Normally I spread them out when we got lubricant, but this matches much more nicely to the thing above. Yes, I guess I will leave them like that for now. And I'm just going to get some pipe work going. That should do. Yes. Okay, so we can just pull engine units in that way. We're also going to need circuits, however. Yes, this is going to need a little bit of rearranging. Not too much, though. I think we'll be all right. Because I can just pull one line in this way. What do we actually need for that? How many of each? We need 2 electronic circuits every 10 seconds. Oh, this is going to be easily provided on a single belt. We don't have to worry about it that much, except for the fact the engine units are on a different belt. So let's just do the usual. We'll have 2 belts running in. Okay, and we can put them on the ground once we've decided. And we are going to want to get, I'm going to say, electronic circuits. I guess we could pull them off here as well. Yeah, that would actually do the job a little bit nicer. Because they're not high volume down here, so we should be okay. Let's get some underground belt while we get everything set up. There we go. So if we go underground belt like this way. There we go. We can grab a nice splitter. Okay, and then we can go underground here. This one space here is just for pipe work, just so we leave that spare. And the pipe work's going to go this way, like this. And we'll get all of you there, I think. Yep, and we can extend that off that line. I doubt we're going to need to extend it, but it's nice to have the option. And then we'll just go this way. And we know our lubricant has to come in from that direction. All the inputs are connected to each other. and the outputs will be going onto this belt. So let's just grab all those coming in. And do I have enough to grab the inputs? Should do. And that is pretty much everything. We just need some power. And that is solved, I think. Yeah, and we can even ignore that for this line. We just need some inputs. And then we'll need to bring in our lubricant. So our lubricant's going to have to come this way, which means we're going to need to make a lot more pipe to ground. So let me just go and get some more of those sorted, and I'll bring in the lubricant. And this should be the entire chain connected now. So yeah, we've got lubricant flowing this way, and it goes up through the center of our main bus. Ignore the miscellaneous storing chests, and across over here, and then we just need to connect this up. That will do. And then they're going to start up. So they're going to start producing electric engines. Good. And I also need some more lights over here because I can't see anything, and more lights are always good. Unless you run out of power, in which case, probably not. The electric bulbs in Factorio consume 5 kilowatts. It's a heck of a bulb. Anyway, so let's get the electric engine units running this way. And let's just actually get this underground sort of this direction. Okay, so we've got electric engine units. We need to make those up into our flying robot frame. And because of that, I'm just going to reverse the direction. I don't want to put this on the main bus forever, but I will put it down into that kind of area and send them to the left, because everything else is sort of, well, the infrastructure for everything else is over on the right-hand side, left-hand side, I should say. The batteries are down here. There is steel down here, and then circuits is on the left side as well, I think. Yep, they are. So I sort of want everything running around about here. So why don't we take this over, and then let's temporarily bring it down next to the coal line, I think. Yeah. And we'll pull that back off again once we get to somewhere I can get it a bit more useful. So let's just bring that around. Yeah. You know, here it's slightly more expensive, but I do sometimes just like doing it this way and getting more on the ground. But you get the idea. Going that way, even though that's more expensive, it's nicer not to have to do those weird U shapes and just bring it down that way. So that will do for me. And we'll bring this down. Obviously, I need got some more underground, but that will be looking pretty good, I think. And we'll just bring it out here somewhere. So let's just decide on that. We're going to need some more iron plate, aren't I? So let's grab some more iron plate. Yep, my inventory's full of all kinds of stuff I don't really need. And let's just get some more underground belts and get that sorted. So we'll bring it across around about here. And how many of each of these do we need for these? So for this, we're going to need 3 circuits each, 2 batteries, and 1 electric engine units. So what I think I'm going to do is share the electric engine units with the steel plate, and we can probably merge those 2 out here somewhere, and then the other 2 can go on, well, maybe, because it's going to need more of the others, isn't it? So we don't much care. It's going to need them all. What about the stuff it builds from those? So how about the bot stuff? So let's just search up the bot. We need more circuits and red circuits. So if we keep the electronic circuits separate to the last minute, then we can combine the 2 of these into construction robots, and then we get red circuits. So we probably want the flying robot frame to get some red circuits from somewhere. And we do have red circuits coming over here. It's coming here because this is where we're producing our science packs. So it's not too far away from actually sending stuff that way. So I think once we build the robot frames, we're just going to send the robot frames back across, because one of the ingredients needs just circuits and the other ingredient just needs red circuits. So it'd be ideal right around here. So if it's right around there, then let's build our robot frames over here and get everything started. Okay, so where was I? I was deciding how many of these. You see, they're going to mix 1 every 20 seconds, so it's not going to consume huge amounts of belt space to actually get this running. So why don't we just pull in, just for convenience sake, do what I said, and we're going to combine the battery, there's the steel, with the electric engine units. So we have some steel here. And where is my electric engine units? So if I... Well, I can actually probably combine them as part of this. Let's get rid of that for a second. Are they coming yet? Oh, they just need some more underground. There we go. They're on the way. And if we just grab a steel line like this. And is that where I want it? Well, it'll do. I'll just remove the rest of this. And this is probably where I actually want it. And then we can send our underground here. Like this. That'll dedicate half a belt to each one of those. Pull you up. And the other thing you needed is circuits and batteries. So batteries are here, obviously. And we'll do the same thing, but with circuits. So if we just drag our circuits going this way, I think something like that, we'll be able to combine them. And that's just about tight enough spacing that we can get that installed. There we go. Circuits coming across. And why don't we just run them this way, like that. And yes, I'm going to need some more space, so why don't I just put down a box, as usual, and then forget about it once I've inserted enough stuff. All that rock can go away, and the coal, we don't need that much anymore. There we go. And I'll just clean that up. There it goes. Bring across the other ingredients. And then we decide how many of these we need. Now, to get started, why don't we just put down a couple of factories. And we'll bring them out to around about here-ish. Yep. And then, well, actually, that's sort of a bad position. We don't necessarily need them next to each other. So, well, I mean, when I say next to each other, I mean sort of up here anywhere. So if we just bring them further down, I'll get a little bit more space out of this. Let's get a power pole in. I'm going to need to put them somewhere where I get both inputs and output lines able to be taking from this. There's lots of pipes around where I actually want these. Let's actually just put them there for now. And we'll have 2 input lines. There we go. And then 1 output line should do us fine. And let's just put in a light, some power, and tell it what to make. Flying robot frames, please. Okay. And of course we can just extend that out once we have them starting to manufacture. And we'll go this way. We're going to need to remember we need to leave space for the main bus, or what is a temporary main bus. This thing needs to get a whole lot larger later, but for now it is fine. And let's just lay this out. Whoops. So only the coal is coming down this far so far. That's okay. And now we need on this side to basically construct our robots. So if it makes it past here, we could use this as the measuring stick as to whether we use these red circuits. So if we bring those down from the end, let's bring them down this way. And again, we'll just send stuff that way. We can also create a splitter on this side. And do we actually want equal numbers of each? I want to say, why not? Because, again, why not? So I'm just going to bring this all the way over this way. And then we'll be able to simply put 2 input lines together. Like this. One with our flying robot frames. And one with each type of circuit. We can then drop Let's put one there and one there, just because that's where the circuits are right now. Let's actually move that up a little bit. One more. There we go. Just so I can get this power poles connected. And then we'll put another one in. And now we're going to tell it to make bots. Bots, please. And you're going to make a different kind of bot. So we're going to get some logistics robots and some construction robots. And of course we can duplicate this up. So red circuit, green circuit, and just flying robot frame. Okay, so flying robot frame will always come from the near belt, and the far belt can give us, via some long-headed inserters, the relevant circuit. Let's take that off as well. Yeah, that should do. And I'm actually just going to feed these. Whichever one will take that, and you will take those. So now all we're really waiting for is flying robot frames. Now, is that actually going to start yet? Have I got everything in there? What are you missing? Have I misconfigured that? They should be starting, should they not? Oh, yeah. Helps if you give them the ingredients. There we go. And why don't we just add more of those? There we go. All right, they're starting. They should provide the flying robot frames. They'll come down here and get made into the bots. And the bots at this point, we need to unload them somewhere. And temporarily, do we have the supply storage chest? Let's just put a storage chest down or two. And we're also going to need a roboport, but roboports need more red circuits. So yeah, we need to continue scaling up the red circuits up here. You'll see it's still short of plastic, even though I changed that oil recipe. Not enough plastic coming in. So we need to up that significantly. However, I can just go and borrow some from this line, which is, you know, where half of them are actually going. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, because our blue science is actually backed up. And that's like 500 red circuits. So we can then create a roboport or few roboports. And then we can unload into the roboports and get the network itself sorted. So you have two things. You have construction robots and logistics robots. Logistics robots, if you don't already know, you're not following along with Factorio, they bring stuff to you and move stuff around. The construction robots, as the name may imply, were the things that will build factory stuff out. So if you want to copy and paste this down, you will be able to do that with construction robots. And indeed, once we get your personal research up, let's take a look at what bot research we've got left. First of all, you can get combat robotics. We're not concerned about that, but we can also do various other things. For example, personal roboport is one of those things. You can carry around bots with you, and that will then let them construct things. So yeah, what do we actually need for this? We got most of it already. We need solar energy, so let's take that anyway. And it's that's red and green circuits science, so that should be quite fast. And then what do we have after this? That's really trivial to actually make portable solar panels. So why don't we add that as well? And then personal roboport, we can add that as well. And then we can think about maybe, I don't know, robot cargo size so they can carry more. And then robot speed, so they'll work faster. Okay, and lots of other stuff will start popping up as we actually get through that. Portable fusion reactor, yes. So I do want to go into the military side just so that I can get an armor that speeds me up, and that's something we'll do later. However, we now have a roboport, so we can think about where we put these. Now, it's at this point when you get roboports, you have to start thinking about your base on a wider sort of basis. Ideally, we want everything covered up by that orange square. So you sort of end up with some sort of grid pattern that supports that, either with these at the corners of the grid or in the middle, but the middle then sort of leads to other things. So I'm going to take a really good idea from Nilaus. If you've not seen Nilaus's videos, go to his YouTube videos. He has lots of Factorio stuff. That's Nilaus. He does a grid-based layout, and I thought, well, I don't often try that, so from this point forward, why don't we just think about doing that? So the roboports are the ideal corners of that grid, and everything will have to get moved around, but to just get started, we'll put down one and then think about the others later. So if we put down one there, we can get a, let's just see, a couple of storage chests, something like that. Yeah. And let's just put our construction bots into them. Let's just move this one further out. Whoops. Just so they have a buffer in case they need one. And the roboport can go one further out. So that will get provided into the roboport, which now has a bot network. It's not very big, but it's a bot network all the same. And now we don't have in our inventory yet the logistics slots. They'll go in the middle between these two sides, if I remember correctly. And that lets us request things that are in these yellow storage chests. So instead of having steel, I need to put down more lights. It's getting too dark. Light on the subject, please. Yeah, so it's we're going to need those slots, and we're going to need to upgrade everything to the storage chests. And then we're going to need lots and lots of roboports to basically make sure this orange area is covered across our entire map. I'll be doing that off camera, no doubt. So that's a good point to leave it there for this episode, because next episode we're probably going to be doing some rebuilding. I'm going to be rescaling again on plastic and on red circuits, because even though a lot of them are going to the blue science, I do actually want to let that back up and have an excess of red circuits, because the blue ones will take that as well as the modules. So we'll cover that in another episode, and then I'll probably think about scaling this off camera as well, and we'll see where we get to on that. Hope you've enjoyed. Lots of little different things we got to today. And yeah, we will be using the solid fuel much later when it comes to making rocket stuff. But for now, I quite like the idea that we've got this little overflow valve going. For the most part, it's actually not going to activate because we're going to be using it for lubricant. But if we ever, get too much, then we can protect against it. Okay. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next time for some more Factorio 0.17. And yeah, feel free to subscribe, share, or click the little bell if you want notifications of more episodes of all kinds. Thanks for watching.